has a wonderful journey sitting at the lotus feet of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj Samadhi in Mayapur, and hope that you have made little walk around right in front of the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj Samadhi, Radha Kund, Shyam Kund. And if you exit from the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj toward the Radha Kund and Shyam Kund, if you have gone a little bit left, there is also a Govardhan hill over there. So I deeply appreciate your association, and also I'm so proud to announce that 23 devotees from Naperville today join physically or by internet. Haribo. So let's hear the wonderful song before we will read the Jaiva Dharma book. Hare Krishna.
Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan, Sri Govinda Gopi Nata Madana Mohan, Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan, Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mohan, Keshigata Bansivata Dwadasha Khana, Jaha Sabalila Koilo Sinanda Nanda, Sinanda Jasoda Jaya Jaya Gopaga, Sridhamadi Jaya Jaya Denu Vatsaga, Jaya Vita Vanu Jaya Kitida Sundari, Jaya Punamasi Jaya Abhiranagari, Jaya Jaya Gopishwara Vrindavanama, Jaya Jaya Krishna Saka Vaturi Jara, Jaya Rama Gata Jaya Rohini Nanda, Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Vasi Jata Jaya Dija Patni Jaya Vrindavan Nagakanja Vrindavan Bhakti Tejahara Ailo Govinda Chara, Vrindavan Tira Samandala
Thank you very much, Raghu Chaitanya Prabhu, for playing a wonderful song. Remind us about the Vrindavan Dham. This is our eternal home. So we will continue reading the Jaiva Dharma where we left other day. Later, I anxiously searched for that Vaishnava saint, but without success. I clearly perceived that by seeing this Vaishnava saint and hearing his chanting of Krishna's name, I had experienced a pure joy that I have never felt before, an intense bliss I had never believed possible for a human being. After pondering upon this subject for a few days, I finally concluded that the best thing for me was to take shelter at the feet of a Vaishnava. Therefore, I left Varanasi and went to Vrindavan Dham. There I saw many Vaishnavas repeating the names of Sri Rupa, Sri Sanatan, and Sri Jiva Goswami with deep feelings of separation and sorrow, absorbed in meditation upon the pastime of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. They also spoke of Sri Navadvip Dham, going immediately into ecstasy, falling down to roll in the dust. My desire to see Navadvip increased greatly, and after first circumambulating the area of Rajadam, I started for Navadvip. A few days ago, I arrived here in Mayapur, and hearing your praises, I have come to find shelter at your feet. Kindly bestow your mercy upon me and accept me as your servant, making my life worthwhile and complete. Babaji Maharaj, exhibiting great humility, took a straw between his teeth and then spoke with quivering voice, quote, "My dear sir of the renounced order, I am a useless soul. I have spoiled my life in trying only to fill my belly, get enough sleep, and in talk about tribalities. I have taken shelter of this land where Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has performed his many wonderful pastimes. And now, somehow or other, I'm passing my days. Unfortunately, I cannot perceive the true nature of Krishna Prem, transcendental love of Godhead. You are truly fortunate. You were blessed by seeing a real Vaishnava, and this meeting granted you, if only for a moment, the divine relish of Krishna Prem. Indeed, you are a recipient of the special mercy of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I will remain ever grateful if in the moments of your ecstatic Krishna Prem, you can remember a fallen breath like me with fondness. Babaji Maharaj went over to the sannyasi, warmly embraced him, and showered him with the tears of joy streaming from his eyes. Sannyasi Thakur immediately experienced spiritual exultation through the touch of a pure Vaishnava and began to cry and dance. While dancing, he sang this refrain, Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Prabhu Nityananda, Jai Sri Prema Das Guru, Jai Bhajan Ananda. Quote, all glories to Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to my spiritual master, Sri Premadas Babaji, and all glories to bliss of devotional pursuit. Composing himself after singing and dancing for a long time, Sannyasi Thakur sat down and started to converse with Babaji Maharaj. Babaji Maharaj said with humility, O great sage, please spend a few days here in Pradyumna Kunj and purify me by your association. Sannyasi Thakur replied, quote, I surrender my body and life to you. Why only a few days? I pray that I may spend the rest of my life here in your service. Being well versed in all the scripture, Sannyasi Thakur knew well that one should stay in the ashram of one's guru, known as Gurukul, and there receive spiritual instructions. Thus, he resolved to stay on the Pradyumna Kunj. One day, Babaji Maharaj addressed Sannyasi Thakur as follows: O great one, Sri Pradyumna Brahmachari Thakur, my spiritual master, has shown great compassion toward me and granted me sanctuary at his feet. Presently, he resides in remote section of Navadvip, in the village of Sri Devapalli, intensely absorbs in worshipping Sri Nrsingadev. Let us visit him today after we have completed Madhukari. Unquote. That afternoon, they crossed the Ganga and arrived in Sri Devapalli. As they came down the Suryakila Mount, they saw Sri Pradyumna Brahmachari inside Sri Nrsingadev temple. While still at a distance, Babaji Maharaj offered obeisances to his Guru, prostrating himself fully upon the ground. Moved by that tender affection, Sri Pradyumna Brahmachari Thakur came out of the temple and lifting Babaji Maharaj up with both hands, lovingly embracing and inquired about his well-being. Then they sat down and discussed spiritual topics at length. This is spiritual association. When we meet with the advanced devotee, we should spend time. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving us some hint. Then they sat down and discussed spiritual topic at length. Finally, Babaji Maharaj turned to Sannyasi Thakur and introduced him in detail to Pradyumna Brahmachari Thakur, who then addressed him affectionately, quote, My dear son, you have found the proper spiritual master. Now try to sincerely study the Prem Vivarta from the able Paramhamsa Premadas Babaji, as is stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 8.128. Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi, Shudra Kene Nai, Ye Krishna Tattva Veta, Shai Guru Hai. Whether one is a Brahmana, Sannyasi or Shudra, regardless of what one is, one can become a spiritual master if one knows the sense of Krishna. Following the example of his Guru, Sannyasi Thakur offered prostrate obeisances to Sri Pradyumna Brahmachari Thakur, whom he now saw as his grand spiritual master, known as the Param Guru. He humbly replied, quote, Dear Master, you are a Parishad and eternal associates of Chaitanya. Your compassionate glances can purify many thousands of sannyasi like me. So I beg for your kindness, unquote. Having previously never learnt the rules of the Vaishnava etiquette, Sannyasi Thakur keenly observed the ensuing dealings between his Guru and Param Guru. Realizing that this was the standard of behavior, he resolved to emulate it unreservedly. Babaji Maharaj and Sannyasi Thakur stayed for the Sandhya Arti, evening worship, and afterwards returned to Godruma. The days passed quickly, and Sannyasi Thakur developed the desire to ask Babaji Maharaj certain philosophical questions. Except for adoption of the Vaishnava attire, Sannyasi Thakur had all the distinguished future of a devotee. From his previous training, he had already developed the qualities of sama, equanimity, dhamma, sense control, and brahmanistha, unwavering establishment in the all-pervading, non-dual, absolute truth. Now, moreover, he was developing realization of the divine pastimes of the Param Brahma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. And so, concomitantly, he was gradually developing true humility and meekness. One day at sunrise, Babaji Maharaj, his morning bath completed, sat in the calmness of the sea Madhavi Malti Mandapa grove and began to chant Harinam upon the beats of his Tulsi Japamala. Awareness of his body and the surrounding phenomenal world faded away. He was soon deep in meditation upon the Nishanta Lila, the dawn pastime of Goloka Vrindavan. In particular, those amorous exchanges of the divine couple, Radha and Krishna, in the love groups of Vrindavan, which would be ending soon with the coming of daylight, forcing the separation and return to their respective homes. Incessant tears streamed down his cheek and becoming transfixed in his Siddhadeha, perfected spiritual form. He executed in meditation the devotional duties assigned to him in the down pastime of the divine couple in their transcendental abode. So Sannyasi Thakur, watching at first from a polite distance, gradually came nearer and with awestruck wonder began observing closely the aesthetic symptoms now exhibited upon Babaji Maharaj's body. Still deep in meditation, Babaji Maharaj called out, quote, "O Shaki, quickly quinton that hag of a monkey, Kakari. She will disturb the blissful sleep of our most dear Radharani and Govinda." As we know that the Ashtakalya Lila, 8 pastime of the day, it starts from 3:36 a.m. to 6 a.m. and this is happening at that time, this pastime. 6 a.m. to 8:24 a.m., 8:24 a.m. to 10:48 a.m., 10:48 a.m. to 3:36 p.m. and it's a repeat. 3:36 p.m. to 6 p.m., 6 p.m. to 8:24, 8:24 to 10:48, and 10:48 to 3:36 in the morning. So those, if we remember those 8 pastimes, we can remember what Radha and Krishna is doing. So this is the early morning pastime. Quickly, Quinton, that head of a monkey Kakaki, she will disturb the blissful sleep of our most dear Radharani and Govinda. If they awaken, Lalita Sake will be more upset and surely chastise me. Look over there. Ananga Manjari is signifying that we must do this. You are Raman Manjari, and having been given this duty, you should execute it consistently. After speaking these words, Babaji Maharaj fell down in an ecstatic swoon, realizing that the words were addressed to him. Sannyasi Thakur understood at that moment both his Siddhadeha and his specific devotional service. So if we will continue chanting the pure holy name, we will be able to understand who we are eternally and what service we will render when we go to the Goloka Vrindavan. Thus, he began to ready himself for this new devotional assignment. Dawn was spreading across the eastern horizon. The sun was peeping out, aglow with a radiance of morning, and was enveloping the beautiful bowers of Sri Madhavi Malti Mandap of Pradyumna Kunj in his fiery aura. Birds chirped in greeting, and a light breeze carried their song in every direction. In the early sunlight, nature blushed with pristine beauty. Babaji Maharaj, sitting upon a straw mat, showed sign of a slowly coming back to external consciousness. He then began to chant quietly upon his mala, taking this opportunity, Sannyasi Thakur sat near Babaji Maharaj and addressed him, quote, "Dear Master, your poor servitor would like to ask a question. Kindly soothe his raging mind with your answer. Let your words infuse the divine sentiment of Braj within his heart, which is terribly surged by the flames of Mohinism and impersonal Brahman realization." Babaji Maharaj responded, "As you are a most fit candidate, I will try my best to answer any questions that you have." In this book, it says that the Jaiva Dharma book, any human being can think any questions. It is in this book. An answer is given. I'm reading chapter 1. Yeah. Sannyasi Thakur said, "Dear Master, wherever I have been, I have heard Pandits expound the importance of Dharma, religious duty, and in response, I have always inquired what Dharma actually is in truth. However, the sad fact is that all the answers I have received are varied and contradictory. Therefore, now from you, I would like to know what is the true Dharma of the mankind? Why does each of the different religions teach us preach his particular version of Dharma as being the only true religion? If there actually is but one Dharma, then why are the numerous religious leaders not in agreement and so following their singular spiritual goals?" Babaji Maharaj quietly began his dissertations while worshipping the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu within his mind. Look at the consciousness of those personalities. He was going answer, but his mind was fixed on the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. O fortunate one, listen attentively as I explain to you man's true religion, his Nitya Dharma, the natural characteristic of a Vastu, external entity or substance, are related to its Ghatana. Instincts, instincts, this word is difficult, sometime I can pronounce, intrinsic constitution. By the mercy of Sri Krishna, a Vastu, once brought into existence, inherently possesses a permanent nature known as its Dharma. Thus, the innate nature is the Nitya Dharma of the Vastu. Quote, I'm on page 6 if you are looking. However, by force of circumstances or by contact with the other substance, the original character of the Vastu may apparently be transformed. In the course of time, when this transformed character becomes stable, it then appears to be a seemingly permanent quality of a Vastu, apparently being the genuine, original, eternal, and immanent nature. Nevertheless, this new distorted character is not the actual Swabha, inherent nature. Actually, this new character is defined as Nisarga, a condition that only appears to be natural. Appearing to be eternal, the Nisarga deceptively usurps the actual Swabha of the Vastu. Quote, let us take, for example, this substance water. Liquidity is its inherent nature. However, when water freezes to ice, solidity becomes its assumed nature, its nisarga. Nisarga is a temporary condition because it is brought about by an agent acting as a catalyst. When the agent is removed, the false temporarily nisarga always disappear. Whereas conversely, the true inherent nature is maintained eternally. Even if the Vastu apparently transformed, the Nitya Dharma remains its intrinsic nature, latent within the similarly chained Vastu. And by the amelioration of the fallen circumstances, the Nitya Dharma will, in time, surely reassert itself. What is Vastu? Vastu is also, they are talking about that object. Vastu. Not the Vastu. No. The inherent nature, the Swabhav, is the eternal religion of a Vastu. The Nitya Dharma, in contrast, the assumed nature of a Vastu, the Nisarg, in its Naimitika Dharma, temporary nature. One who possesses Vastu Gyan, knowledge of the absolute reality, is also able to discriminate between Nitya Dharma and Naimitika Dharma, which take the form of temporary, material religious performance. However, without this knowledge, a person will falsely consider the temporary Nisarg and resultant Naimitika Dharma to be the Nitya Dharma. Sannyasi Thakur then asks, kindly further elucidate the definition of a Vastu and Swabha. This is your answer is coming. We have to have a patient. All the questions will be answered in this book. So Babaji Maharaj answered, this Sanskrit word Vastu is a derivative of the root Va, which means to exist or to dwell, conjugated and made into a noun by the suffix tu. Therefore, Vastu means that which exists being self-evident and perceivable. So it's object. Like if they are talking about the water, it turned into the ice. But the dharma of the water is always liquidity. You cannot tell, even though the ice made from water, when it's turned to the freezing, you cannot call water. Name change. Vastu is in two kinds, Vastava Vastu and Avastava Vastu. Vastava Vastu is transcendental truth, eternal spiritual substance. And Avastava Vastu is matter, temporary object possessing inert quality, having but illusory semblance of the actual eternal reality. The existence, okay, I will have to mark it down on page 7. Thank you very much for joining. The time has reached. We should be punctual on our activity. So with the start, I would like to offer my humble obeisances at the dusk of all the wonderful assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, and hope and pray that we always remain fixed in the devotion and always remain happy, jubilant, and totally fearless. Whoever we come across in our life, give them the kind association so their life also become jubilant, happy, and totally fearless. With those thoughts, I would like to offer my humble obeisances to all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis to join in this morning program. It's not that easy, and I really appreciate the dedication. I'm a useless guy, I'm a retired person, I can do it. But working and still you try to join, it's really exemplary. And I hope and pray to Krishna to bestow his mercy more and more so we can finish our goal for for which purpose we have come into this material world. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. If Krishna so desired, we will see you tomorrow morning. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.